Welcome to a Code Chomper tutorial. This time, we're going to be working on the sprites for our first game, Galaxy Intruders. Alright, so let's build our first game. We're going to open up Game Maker Studio. We're going to create a new project. Browse to the folder you want to save it in. I already have a tutorials folder built. And we're going to call this one Galaxy Intruders. Name the project the same as the folder, Galaxy Intruders. Alright, so to start, we're going to start with the sprites. The sprites are the images for your game objects. To create a new sprite, you can right click on the sprite folder and click New Sprite. Or you can use this little Pac-Man dude right here. That's what I'm going to do because it's easier. For anything you create in Game Maker Studio, you want to prefix the object name with a 3-letter code. For sprites, I use SPR_. And this one we're going to call SPR_BadGuy1. Click New Sprite. And we're going to make it 32 by 32 pixels. Double click the sprite and zoom way in. Alright, so we're going to use a 1 pixel block. And I'm going to pick the color white. I do this so I can edit the color of the sprite later on if I want. Alright, so let's start drawing our first bad guy. He's like an octopus looking thing. So let's start off with the top of the head, 2 pixels. And we'll go 2 more pixels wider on the next row. On this row, let's go 1 pixel wider. Alright, so let's do 1 pixel, skip 2 pixels for the eyeballs. And then on the next row, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give him some little cheeks. And in fact, I think I'm going to only have 1 pixel wide cheek. So I'm going to erase that with the eraser tool. There we go. Alright, right below that, the row below that, let's go all the way across. And now there I went again. Erase. I gotta use the eraser tool. Shortcut for that, you could use E for the eraser and D for draw. Now we're going to draw the tentacles. So right below the eyeball, go ahead and give it 2 pixels. And off to the side of each 2 little pixel block, we're going to give it a pixel. Let me erase that again. Use the E tool for eraser, D tool for draw. Now draw a 4 pixel block off to the side, 1 in between there. Use my eraser tool again. And back to the drawing. And we're almost done. There we go. Octopus looking bad guy. Now I'm going to use my selection tool and I'm going to move them to the center. Well, as close to the center as I can. And that looks about right. Alright, so he's done. What we need to do is copy this image and make another frame for our animation of him swimming through the galaxy. Anyway, use copy and paste. Open up the second sprite, zoom way in so we can see what the heck we're doing. And go ahead and erase the bottom part of his tentacles. E for the eraser, and just get after it. Alright, so let's draw in the tentacles kind of curled under. And that'll do it. Go ahead and click done, done, done. All right, to use our sprite, well, to build a game that can run, we need to make a room. So the first thing we're going to do is make a room. We're going to rename it. We're going to give it a prefix. And this one's going to be rm_main. All right, so let's change the background. Since we're in the galaxy, we're going to use a black color, but not all the way black. Let's make it a little bit darker. There we go. Looks good. All right, so we really can't place a sprite in a room. We need an object. So we need to make a game object that uses this sprite. Go to the objects folder, right click, and say create object. And you guessed it, we gotta prefix this too. obj_badguy1. Now right here's where we can select the sprite that represents this object. So select our sprite, SPR_badguy1. And now we can place him in the room and see what it looks like. In the objects tab, you have this window here where you can select objects. Right now we only have one, so go ahead and select him. Drop him in the room in a couple spots, and we can test this thing out. There are two ways we could do it. We can use the run arrow up in the left corner here, or we can hit F5. It'll take a second to compile, and then our game will pop open. And holy cow, our squid things are swimming way too fast. Don't worry though, it's an easy fix. Go ahead and open up the sprite. Go edit sprite. Go to the animation and go to stretch. And since there's 2 frames, let's go ahead and keep it a power of 2. Let's go to 16 frames. And what this will do is it'll stretch out the animation and make it go a little bit slower, basically. Click OK. And looks good. Go ahead and click OK again. And run it. Now our squid dudes are going a lot slower. This is the look we were going after, so that's good. Alright, so now let's build another bad guy, because you can't just have one. So go ahead, right click on the sprite folder, create sprite, or however you want to make a new sprite. SPR_badguy2. Edit sprite, create a new sprite, 32 by 32. Click OK, zoom way in. Now, this guy's going to be a little bit different than the last guy. This guy is a crab looking dude. So we're going to have a squid and a crab, and they're going to be swimming through the galaxy. So we made some little antennas, and we're going to make the top of his head. Alright, so the row below it, we're going to make it the same size, but we're going to skip a pixel for the eyeballs. And the row below that, well, let's give him some cheeks. So there we go. Now the row below that is the same as the row above it. Use the E for eraser if you make a mistake, and then D for draw. Alright, so this row was a 1 pixel narrower, and we'll make some little pinchers, I guess. Alright, so there's our crab looking dude. Let's let's give him some arms. Can't forget the second set of arms. Alright, so now let's select him and move him to the center. Right about there is good. Click OK. Copy this frame, create another one. And this crab does like a jumping jack looking animation through space. So Anyway, we'll use the selection tool. We'll move his arms up. And then we'll move his pinchers out. Use the E for erase and D for draw. And he's done. Now we know that 2 frames is way too fast. So what we're going to do is the same thing we did last time. We're going to go to the Animate tab, click Stretch, go to 16 frames. Click OK. Everything looks good. Click the checkbox, click the OK. And we're going to create another object for this sprite. Create object, obj underscore bad guy 2. And when we select the sprite this time, make sure we select the sprite 2, the SPR underscore bad guy 2. And now clicking in the box, you can select between the different bad guys. Pick bad guy 2, place them out on the game in the room. And now you can see our little crab guy doing his jumping jacks through the galaxy. And we still have our little squid guy swimming through the galaxy. So cool. Alright, now we need to make a ship to blast these suckers. So let's, first let's delete all these guys because we're going to add them to the room later with code. You can either right click on them and delete, or you can hit shift, right click, and it will delete them. Alright, now that our room's empty, let's build a ship sprite. New sprite, call it SPR underscore ship. Edit sprite, create a new sprite, 32 by 32. Double click it, zoom way the heck in. Now, this time we're going to start drawing on the bottom of the screen here. Not all the way across. Let's start right about here. Let's start in the middle and go out a few pixels. We're going to make a pyramid looking ship. And go a couple pixels high right there. All right, that looks pretty good. Click OK, click the checkbox, click OK. Let's create an object. obj underscore ship. Click the ship. All right. Well, you know what? Let's put some bad guys back in the room and our ship too, so we can see what they all look like kind of together. Left click and select your different objects and place them. Let's place the ship and see how he looks against the bad guys. All right, hit F5. Let's take a look. I think the ship looks a little small, so we should try to scale it up a bit. We want the ship to look like it can really blow away these Galaxy Intruders. So let's hit Edit Sprite. Select the ship, move it kind of towards the middle. Use Transform and Scale. And I set it to 200% already. Click OK. Let's go ahead and move it back down. And let's round off the nose a little bit so it doesn't look so blunt. Use the draw tool and just put 2 little pixels right there. That looks pretty good. Now, since the object is already bound to this sprite, editing the sprite edits the object automatically. So you'll see next time we run this game that our ship right here is a lot bigger. Now that looks like the ship can take out those Galaxy Intruders. Alright, well, I hope you join me next time while we add some code and some movement to our ship. Get things moving.